Hello everybody, welcome to Travel Addicts. We greatly appreciate you watching. Please subscribe. If we get 100 subscribers, we get to change our URL. That's going to be our next treat. We earned our first dollar, by the way. Thank you. We're going to spend it in China. That's what this video is going to be about. Everybody wants to know, how do you travel so cheap? That's the most common question we get. And there's tons of travel videos on YouTube. They're everywhere. And I'm no expert at this by no means. I'm telling you, if you want to travel, you can do it cheaply. You can do it as cheap as $1,000 a month. You can do it as cheaply as $10,000 a month. It's all in your priorities and what you want to spend. Now, we're going to Beijing, China in October, and the reason we chose October, it is the low season, the cheapest time to go. We prefer to go at the lowest part of the season. It's the least crowded, it's the cheapest price, the trips always just go real fast, and you can see and do a lot more because the crowds are so thin. You may miss a few things, some things may be open, you may have to redirect, but you know, we're going, as you can see, the Great Wall here, we're not going to miss anything in China by going in late October. Now, we booked through Expedia. I have found that the best way to figure out the cheapest dates is to go to skyscanner.com. I use the desktop for this because you can actually chart your days to figure out what flights are the absolute cheapest and what days are the absolute cheapest, and then you start planning your trip off of that and searching. For some reason, Expedia always seems to be the cheapest route for us. Kayak's a good one. Skyscanner. Then go to Expedia, see where you're at. We did get a whole week, 7 nights at the Beijing Confucius Nostalgia Hotel, and it's going to cost us $37.50 a night. Considering the airfares, we're about $560, $575 each. So 7 nights, round trip out of Dallas, including the tax and the trip insurance, was $755 each. That's really cheap, considering you can eat in China for around $3 or $4 a day a piece. You know, we've got our first full day tour, which is a full day tour of Beijing, all the sites, all the highlights, free lunch, all the transportation, all the entry fees, and tea tasting for $31 each. And I did that through China Highlights. Anyway, we're going to the second furthest one out, and it's a full day tour, 9 hours. We get the free lunch again, we get the tea tasting, and then we also get the Jade Factory with the Ming tombs, the forbidden tombs, which they just found recently. I think they found them maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And a full day tour of the wall, all transportation, entry fees, and that one was $47 each. So we're not talking about a lot of money here. We're at you know, $15.60 plus $62 plus $94. So we're $1,800. Okay, and this is not including our expense money, but we're still, you know, we're doing a lot for $1,800. And then we're going to hitch an overnight train. We booked this actually through ChinaHighlights.com. Overnight. We take the overnight train from Beijing into XI'AN, China, which is where the Terracotta Warriors are. Now, XI'AN used to be the capital of China years and years ago, like in the early, around 700 AD. And yes, it's a fascinating city, and I wish we could spend more time there, but you know, we just only have a certain amount of time. So we're hopping an overnight train. We're going to spend a full day in XI'AN, and then hop back on the overnight and hot foot it back over to Beijing. That train was $320 for the train ride for both of us. So you know, it's kind of funny. That's actually booked through a China Highlights. Now, if I could have got onto a actual Chinese site and used Google Translate to decipher and booked it through a China site like I did the ballet in Russia, we could have got it for about half that, because you know, the tourist price is much higher. But it's very difficult for foreigners to book train rides for some reason in China. So we had to use a third party, which was China Highlights. Great tour company. It's huge, tons of stuff to do. Great place to explore different tours and attractions and packages and all that. It may work out for you, may not. It's just another tool. So you know, right now we're sitting at about $2,200. Now the next expense we had was the visa. We used Visa Central. Now I did all the work on our visa to Russia, and it was a real pain in the butt, and we only saved about $75. Now for $75 to do all that work, it's really not worth it. Visa Central will do all of it. You have to prepare a lot of the paperwork for them. You have to FedEx it to them, and they will take care of everything and FedEx your visa back. But what we got was a 10-year multiple entry visa. $700, $350 each. It's a lot of money. So that puts us up around $2,800, $2,900, including our visa. Now, the visa, the nice thing about the visa is it is good for 10 years. And if we can continue to get these trips for, there were some trips in there for $650. If you really wanted to thin out the hotel and really stay in a real basic, not a roach coach, but a real basic, simple, basically a hostel with a bed, maybe a shared bathroom. The one I seen was $645. It had a full-size bed. It had a little small TV, a window, and a little small desk. It was probably about the size of a big closet. Shared bathroom. But you know, this visa just continues to get cheaper the more trips you go on. So next time we won't have to have the expense of the visa. It is good for 10 years, and we can multiple entries. So if we want to go to Hong Kong, we're not going to burn up entries trying to go into Hong Kong or Macau or Taiwan or any of these free economic zones that China has, because if you have a China visa, it will use one entry going in, trying to go back in to China from Hong Kong. So Visa Central got us multiple entry. We can come and go as much as we want for up to 60 days a year for 10 years. Any questions or comments, please comment below. Be glad to answer anything. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.